Hey everybody, and welcome to Medieval Total War. We're going to try a campaign today on Late. We're going to go expert difficulty for this, and as always we're going to go with glorious achievements. But if you're unfamiliar with the game, Medieval 1, the first game released in 2002, the first medieval game that is, this came a couple of years after Shogun 1. This introduced the periods, 3 periods, early, high, and late, and then they had an expansion for the Vikings. All of these provide slightly different start points, as you can see here. And that really changes the game a bit. So we're going to just jump in, and I'm going to grab the faction we're going to play today, which is the Aragonese, right up here, starting with Aragon as well as Sicily. And the late period, just the periods in general, provide a lot of replayability for the game, obviously, but maybe for slightly different reasons than you might expect. Of course, in the 3 different start dates have different levels of technology, different levels of development for all of the factions on the map. But because all 3 of the campaigns end at the same year, 1453, that essentially makes the later periods harder in the sense that you have less time to accomplish your goals. So what are those goals? Well, there are 2 ways to play Medieval 1. There are 2 broad victory objectives. The first is to just conquer 2/3 of the map, and then if you want to, you can claim that as a lesser victory, or you can go on for the full 100% victory. I've never done that, no interest in doing that. But the glorious achievements add some really interesting stuff. Now for Aragon, the goals in the late period anyway are going to be fairly basic. For a lot of the factions, these goals are pretty basic. It consists of homelands, which is you have a certain number of provinces which were historically held by the faction or coveted by the faction. Those are the ones that you get points for acquiring. And then in addition to your homelands, you're going to get a certain amount of points for conquering any provinces outside of that. For Aragon, we actually get a pretty nice turnover. 2 provinces conquered gets us a single point. That's quite a bit better than some other factions have it. Some other factions have something like 5 provinces gets you a single point. So that's a nice benefit for us. In addition to these 2, in the earlier period, Aragon gets Crusades goals, just like, or very similar, I should say, to a lot of the other Catholic factions. Aragon only has, I think, 2. I think they get points for taking Antioch, and they get points for taking Jerusalem, but that might be it. But regardless, for Aragon, I don't think there's any other, special goals. But for other factions, there might be. Right? For certain factions, you might have to build a famous building like a monastery or a cathedral. You may have to have a certain number of buildings in a certain number of provinces. There may be goals involving trade. Some of them, I have to say, are bugged and don't work quite right. But it's a cool little system, and especially at the time it came out, I really liked the opportunity it afforded for you to play, theoretically, a sort of a tall campaign. It bothers me when my factions get too sprawled out, and especially where that kind of goes against historical feasibility. So we've got a few factions here on the map with us. Some of those that you may be familiar with from the early period are gone at this point. So no Sicily, and the people of Novgorod are now the Russia faction. So they are a proper playable faction in the high and the late period. I think that's it. I don't think there's any other early factions that are gone, but we may see some factions emerge in this campaign. And just in general, the late period tends to favor Catholic factions, of which we are one. In general, the Catholic factions get better over time, their units get more armored, and then the Eastern or the Muslim factions have rosters that are usually a bit lighter or a bit focused more on speed. And so they may find it harder to deal with the heavily armored factions of the West. So we've got that advantage too. But really, we've got a very small window of time. The year is currently 1321. So we've got, 130 years, basically? 130 turns to accomplish that goal. And I thought this would be nice to do a quick faction. I think for a lot of people, when they play Medieval 1, when they go back to it or fire it up for the first time, they want to do an early campaign, because that does give you, a very good sense of what the game is all about, and it gives you the most amount of time possible to play it, and, it lets you see the whole progression if you stick with it all the way to the end. But late campaign stuff is kind of like challenge mode, and so I kind of like it, and especially doubly so for Aragon. This is a faction I have to admit I have never completed. I've never won a campaign as Aragon. I've tried several times on several different start dates, but I'm just off recording a lengthy early campaign as the French, and I wanted to try something very different, out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is basically anxiety. It's basically you sit there, you tech up, and you don't be aggressive early in the game. And that's kind of intentional, especially in the early period or even the high period, because I don't want to wipe out too many factions too early. It makes the game a little boring, I think. I like to have lots of factions around. And I like to let them develop too, so I see the cooler units that they can build. And so I'm not just fighting like peasants and spearmen. So I like to tech up. I like to let the other factions tech up a little bit, try to maintain an equilibrium, and then see if I can seize opportunities when they arise. That's my go-to mode of play. But we are forcing ourselves out of that comfort zone today with a late era campaign with a faction that I have never successfully completed. So let's see what they have to offer. In Aragon, which is basically our capital here, we already have a lot of technology. In fact, we start with a citadel. This is kind of a nice upgrade for us. The next level we can build is the fortress, which is the highest level of buildings. There may be a fortress on the map in Constantinople from the start here in the late period, but we've got a citadel, and we're not the only ones. As you can see, our neighbors over in Castile and even the rebels in Valencia have a citadel. Otherwise, there's lots of castles. That's good to see. We've got to keep in Naples. Naples is held by rebels, I'm noticing. Again, I very rarely play late era, so a lot of this is going to be kind of new to me. So we also have Sicily, which may come as a bit of a surprise, but there was a period, I guess, right around this time where Aragon did have Sicily. I know of this thing called the Sicilian Vespers, and I can't remember if that's when Aragon took Sicily or when the French took Sicily from the Aragonese, or vice versa. So there's a bit of a swapping of hands around the kingdom of Sicily here. In Sicily, we don't have too much that we can build. The castle level is lower. We can at least build spies and assassins already, and then we get a lot of low-tier stuff. But in Aragon, as I said, we're starting off pretty good. We've got the typical archers, and then they're supplemented by the armor-piercing crossbowmen, a bit stronger, slower rate of fire, more armored. And then we've got stuff like the urban militia, the peasants, and spearmen, which are all fairly standard, but we do get some feudal stuff. So feudal men-at-arms, really nice, if basic sword unit, feudal sergeants, really strong spear unit, and even feudal knights to just start the game. Now, this is the late era, and so when I think late era, I think I want to see chivalric stuff. We can't train any of that yet, but I don't think it'll be too long. Here also, we can train or retrain our royal knights, and you can see from the armor there that these are the late era version of this unit. This is, I think, this is the only unit type that just naturally upgrades over time. So you will see different artwork and different armor levels, and maybe even a bit different stats in other areas as this unit increases. And then the same is true for the bodyguards of like the Muslim factions. We get mounted sergeants. That's just a light cav unit. That's fine. But I'm much more interested in the Spanish Genets, which is a great and unique unit, actually, in the sense that this is the only javelin cavalry in the entire game. We get them. Spain gets them. I think maybe anybody who can conquer Iberia could train these guys, but we get them pretty easily, so that's nice. And then we get another javelin unit, the Spanish javelinmen. Almogavars are also a unique unit for Aragon. Well, actually, I don't know if they're unique for Aragon. I think they're a unique unit in the sense that that they're only available at inns, and maybe only at inns in this area of Iberia. I can't remember. We saw them in one campaign earlier. Maybe it was the French. Or maybe it was the Spanish campaign I did, but in any case, javelin men are good, and Almogavars are sort of like a souped-up javelin unit. We also start with quite a suite of agents. So emissaries are your basic diplomats. Catholic bishops are your, kind of like first tier of priests. And then we get inquisitors and grand inquisitors. So we can start causing some trouble if we want to. We may have to resort to this type of thing. Grand inquisitors, and inquisitors in general can be, abused very effectively, both by you and by the AI. So they are very, they could be considered cheesy. Let me put it that way. So maybe I'll be holding off until I feel like we really need them. But in terms of our goals, yeah, we've only got 5 points at which points are going to be counted. So the first such check-in is 1350. So we've got 30 years or 29 years in order to accomplish, our homeland's goal, to get points, full points for that. You can see now by the red dots over here that we've got basically half of our homeland points, but we are also going to get 5 points each for taking Valencia and Sardinia. Now, Valencia right here, held by rebels, and there's only 3 units inside. We've got a general, Ferdinand Mendoza, who's got 2 command, chivalric men-at-arms. He's got some genets, and then he's got spearmen. The difficulty with Valencia, with attacking Valencia, is that it is a river battle, at least when you're attacking from Aragon. So that's a concern. There's going to be a bridge, maybe 2 bridges, but I can't remember. So, is our initial army up to that task? We could do this from turn 1, theoretically. We could just attack right in here. Okay, we do have some chivalric units to start. We've got chivalric knights. Even though we can't train them, we start with a unit. And notice we've got some armor upgrades and some weapon upgrades. It looks like the weapon upgrades is the first tier. That's the iron, the black color. And then the bronze, I guess that's tier 2 for armor. So we've got that. We've got genets. We've got a standard unit of spears. And then we've got a catapult crew. This could be useful for that bridge battle, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to deploy in such a position to actually hit the bridge or hit what we're going to want to hit. They're not going to set up on the bridge. They're going to set up like a little back from it. But let's check out our king, Alfonso IV, 31 years old, married, and of royal blood. 4 influence is very, very standard at the beginning. He's got 5 piety. That's nice, I guess, for public order. It has some impact with public order and also interacts with inquisitors. So there's a bit of a, this is like your defense role when an inquisitor tries to investigate a family member, and even including your king. A high piety will help protect that. Dread, that's, you want that to be high, so his dread is pretty low. This has nothing to do with the battlefield, by the way. This does not scare the other side. It simply has to do with how intimidated the local population feels. And in the case of a king, not just the local population, but I think the entire realm. So all of your provinces are going to feel more loyal if you've got a king with high dread. And then we've got 3 command, not great. 3 acumen, not great. His only trait is frequent mercy. So that decreases his dread by 1, but I think it more than makes up for it by increasing happiness by 20. I'm not sure exactly what a single skull of dread equates to in terms of the impact on the loyalty of the province. Maybe it's equivalent to 10 happiness. Maybe it's equivalent to 1. I don't know. But I imagine that the plus 20 happiness outweighs the penalty to dread. He is known for showing mercy to captured rebels. Well, we'll see if he follows through with that. We don't have any heirs of age currently. There's a princess right here, Princess Dulce. She's 20. That's great. In about 15 years, we will lose her if she's not married before then, because they retire to a nunnery at around the age of 35, it feels like. And then our first son to come of age will be Prince Alfonso. So that'll be 5 years before we see him. 3 years later after that, Prince Sancho. And then we've got another princess who will be along in 6 years, I want to say. All right, so the first thing, I think I want some ranged stuff. I'm going to queue up just a unit of crossbowmen here, and we're going to attack, because I don't feel comfortable about attacking Valencia's force over a bridge with no range support and just that catapult. So we're going to wait and hope that the Aragonese or the Spanish, I can't remember who starts off here with Cordoba, hope that they don't attack Valencia first. But if they do, we do have time to try to get it away from them, and we may have to start, entering a war pretty early. So let's, because of that, let's get our funds up. Raise taxes to very high. We do get a bonus, it says here in Aragon, to gun galleys. Now, I don't know if this bonus really works. It does with everything else, but with naval units, it's a little weird. Like, I don't know if the valor bonus here equals the command star that you get in ships, because ships don't really have valor in the same way that units do. Like, for example, these guys all have 0 valor. So the catapult crew, 12 means the number of men in the crew, 0 is the valor. Now, if we take all of these guys and put them under the command of our king, they will all now have 1 valor because they're under his command. His command is, for every 2 stars, that command is giving 1 valor point to the men underneath him. So if he gets another command star, everyone will have valor 2 in his army. Ships are different, so I don't know exactly what this means. Nevertheless, we should get some fleets going. And I wouldn't mind turning this into a sort of a naval region. We should probably get a port. I mean, we don't need it in the sense that, there's no trade goods produced in Aragon, so we can't get trade money out of here. And that's like the primary reason you would want to build a port, to sort of make sea trade connections. But because Aragon is our only province in the area, it might, and because there is theoretically a naval bonus, it might be good to get that built. But on the other hand, we don't really have time to worry about trade income, do we? We gotta sort of get what we need. And Valencia does have a trade good and a port to start. So if we can hold on to this and hold on to the citadel, or at least a castle, we can start getting navies out of Valencia. And maybe I'll just not worry about it in Aragon and just use this for, military. Because Aragon, I'm noticing, has iron, whereas Valencia doesn't. So Aragon, I should just build up the metalsmith. And that should be kind of my goal here. Okay, so the economy is, let's see, we're projected to make 576. We haven't dealt with Sicily yet, though. All right, and we can increase that to very high. And so now, 681. Not a lot, but I think it's enough for us to work with. Okay, the other province we need to take for a homeland is Sardinia. Okay, Sardinia is, let's see, does anybody own it? I guess we can send our emissary right there to find out. You can also just do this and hold your guy over. So this says it's a rebel province, so we might be able to... Ooh, can we bribe, actually? Okay, this would be very expensive. 5,623 florins to bribe Valencia, but we only have 4,000. So we're not going to be able to afford that. We'll send him to Sardinia. Maybe there's a cheaper army there that we can just bribe. Because I'd rather bribe this. Otherwise, it's going to take quite a lot for us to get over here. So Sicily is a great province. Starts with silk, sugar, and grain. It's got a good income anyway, just the farming income. This has already got a trading post, and it's already got a port. So now what we could do is build a bunch of ships out of here and connect this to other ports, and then start making some easy trading income. It'd be more useful to do this in Sicily anyway. We're a hop, skip, and a jump away from the, the Ligurian Sea, which has 3 ports, the Adriatic Ocean, which has 4, at least for now. And we do want to get some naval power just for the sake of movement. So trade will be a nice incidental. Let's do our first build. Let's queue up watchtowers. That'll just take 1 turn. That'll help with loyalty. And then we'll go with the shipwright. Yeah, I think I want to do that. We could train up, enough stuff to probably take Sardinia while we're building ships and, the infrastructure for that. So I think that'll work. Let's also get some spies. Let's see. I probably don't need, Yeah, let's get 5 spies. We'll also get a bunch of assassins. And then we'll just sort of secure some of these places for public order purposes. Okay, we've also got a princess. Now, we could get some alliances, I guess. Let's do this. We'll figure out who owns Cordoba. Okay, it's a Spanish. All right. All right, so I don't want to ally with the Spanish just yet. There's a chance they might try to hit Valencia this turn. And if they do, I want to be free to attack them. So I'm not going to ally with them, because if you attack your ally, that's bad. So your king will lose influence, and influence is the thing that essentially relates to the loyalty of your subjects. So all of these units have a loyalty stat. That this is really good. This guy's loyalty is at 6. This guy's loyalty is like, was that 6 or 7? This guy's 3, so that's bad, right? And it says here, this man's loyalty is in serious question. Placing him in charge of a large army may not be wise in case you end up having to fight that army in the not-too-distant future. So you can have like civil wars here, or revolts, as a result of the disloyalty or the lack of loyalty of your own men. So it's a fun little mechanic, and it does relate directly to the influence of your faction leader. So we want this to not decrease, especially when it's kind of middling here at 4. So I'll instead, I guess, get my princess. All right. You know, I think I'm just going to use her as a spy, basically. We'll keep her down in Valencia so I can see what kind of units the Spanish have there. We know that no one's at war in the start of the game. But the Mongols have emerged, right? So I forgot about that. But and the Swiss are emerged. Oh, wow. All right. So the Swiss are in Switzerland. Maybe nowhere else. Maybe they've got Tyrolia. I can't remember, but that's really interesting. And then the other unplayable faction is the papacy. So we may see the Burgundians pop up at some point. But I think that's all I'm going to do. We've built there. We've built... Okay, we haven't built here. So it might be worth getting an inn in Aragon to check for those Amulgavars, any mercenaries to quickly make our armies better. Yep, they're going for it. Okay. All right, we've got like 20 years, 30 years to get this. All right, how do we want to play it? We could hit Castile, and then maybe as a result of that, mess up the Spanish. Because I imagine their king might be heading back here. And that would be better than us hitting Valencia from Aragon with a river battle. So if we check from Castile to Valencia, that's not a river battle. So the Spanish had it easy, and they took out like half of these guys for us, which was nice of them. If we go and, well, yeah, I think we got to do it. How many years? This could be a very short campaign here. We've got, let's see, 3 or 4 years before Alfonso comes of age. But I don't think we want to wait. All right, I think we want to leave the spearmen. And let's actually check out lordships first. Duke of Aragon, Lord Chamberlain. All right, let's... yeah, you can be the Duke of Aragon, because this will get you 2 command stars. Now his valor is 1 instead of 0. And if we also make him Lord Chamberlain, that would make his acumen really good. But Aragon's not super wealthy, actually. So maybe I want to give that to this guy instead. This guy, Chivalric Men-at-Arms. Quite good. 4 acumen is what you want to see. So we'll make him Count of Sicily. Now he's got 2 stars. And then we'll make him the Lord Chamberlain. So that's up to 6. We're up to 1181 now, which is awesome. All right, and we've got a spy. Could we get Sardinia with a bribery? All right, this is actually pretty cheap, $12.94. Let's do it. Let's get a spy there right now. In case that goes through, we'll have another someone there to, you know, keep public order happy. That's basically what spies do. All right. And I think we send everybody over to Castile. Now, oh, they've got 2 chivalric knights. Well, that's just not fair. And what do they have here? 100 spearmen. They're going to leave some of this in Valencia. And we don't have an inn yet. But let's get a feudal sergeant's unit. We'll get an inn next turn. We'll go right for it. They're not waiting around. We don't have to. We cannot afford to wait around, rather. There is a danger, of course, in attacking the Spanish really early. Okay, they're retreating, but they're retreating to the castle. I assume. Where's their king, though? Oh, he could have retreated to Cordoba. All right, it's under siege. That's not great. But we did get the bribery in Sardinia. No problems there. That's great. That's not a sure thing, by the way. Bribery is kind of fickle in this game. It's interesting. There's a chance that you will succeed or not. And you may even lose your emissary in the attempt. But he gained a Valor star as part of that. Okay, so this guy, some good acumen, but weak principles because he got bribed. Loyalty is okay, but, you know, I may shore that up a bit by giving him Lordship of Sardinia. He's now the Guidice of Sardinia. So he's the leader of Sardinia, basically. And we've got our spy here, so hopefully this is not going to rebel. Why is it so low? 67%. Well, I've got to imagine that the game hasn't quite realized that I own it and have a spy here, because I've got, you know, 100 men. I mean, he's got no piety, no dread, so that's not great for loyalty. Okay, and we do share a border with the Italians. Interesting. All right, now we could, theoretically, we could bribe the garrison in Valencia. That's 1,300 too. Okay, and there's the king. All right, so we're at an interesting, interesting point already. So Navarre is still rebel. That's good. Spain doesn't have that. They can only attack us from Valencia right now. We could, what I'm inclined to do is come down and hit Cordoba. They got a couple crossbows. They got the king. They got chivalric knights. Just one unit. Gosh, they've got... Can they just make chivalric knights? Armorers Guild? They don't have that. Alright, so they can't train them. They start with like 3, though. Because there's one here, there's a half one here, and there's another one here. So they've got a good start. If I come down here and hit them, you know, what I want to do is force them to flee entirely. I don't have a lot of guys, which is, of course, the problem. I could come over here and check them out of Valencia. Or try to. What I'm wondering is if their king is going to come back to Castile. If he stays, then I would absolutely take this fight, right? Like, because I think I could win this, maybe. I've got chivalric knights, he's got chivalric knights. Mine are almost better in the sense that, you know, they've got upgrades, but his have the extra valor point. I've got a king, he's got a king. I've got Spanish genets, he doesn't. He's only got 2 crossbows. I've got one of those, but, you know, basically I've got extra cav. Let's see, hills, so they could set up on a hill. It might make more sense. Maybe I come down here. No, I think we do this. We try to meet up, but if he comes up here... So one thing I'm not sure about is what happens if I do this, but he moves up here into Castile. Am I going to be fighting in Castile or not? Let's just see. Okay, no mercenaries available. We're making 1,000. Let's get another unit of crossbows, and we could go for chivalric men-at-arms. I think that is a good move. Sardinia is hopefully going to stick around. Let's get See, we've got peasants for garrison. We've got this guy. I think we're good here. Sardinia, we don't really want to do too much with. We obviously don't want Italy to kill us, but I don't think they will right off the bat. Let's see. Valencia, I'm noticing, has no border forts, so let's get a spy in there, and maybe we can encourage that to rebel. And there's little point, like part of me wants to train some archers or some men-at-arms so that I can support stuff, but I don't have any ships yet. So that is a problem. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to see how this goes. We're moving the feudal sergeants to Castile, and we're moving our main army under the king down there, and the Aragonese are attacking. Oh, shoot. I mean, well, the Almohads, the other A guys. So they're coming up. And I guess they're at war with the Spanish now? What happens to me? All right. Okay. Actually, I think this is okay. The battle is taking place in Castile. We can withdraw back to Aragon if we want to. And I think we do. Now, they are the attacker here. But their guys, some of them have upgrades. And all of them have better valor. So I think we abandon the province. And we're going to go back to Aragon. That's how it should work. Okay, good. The Pope is not warning me about anything. That's awesome. And we get our watchtowers, and our king is back in Aragon. Very nice. Okay, great. Valencia could rebel. Very low taxes. 55% loyalty here. And if they want to change that, they're going to have to move in some support. And they might not be able to do that because now they're worried about the Almohads. Awesome. Okay. So, first gambit didn't quite pan out. Yeah, and you guys are just gonna... You are built to just stay behind and keep 100 men in Aragon so that I can avoid having a rebellion. Okay, this is still not as good as I want it to be. We've got... Look at all the stuff we got. We got a town watch here, which that does help with public order. We've got this. We're at the keep level. There's no religious problem, but it could just be a cultural thing. I don't know what it is. Like, in this game, there's not really culture in the same way that there is in later games. I mean, I could go for a border fort, I guess. I don't want to train units just for garrison. We're going to need the money elsewhere. So let's, yeah, 200 florins for a border fort. I guess we'll do it. Sardinia is actually, you know, okay for mining income, actually. You know, I forget about that. Corsica has salt. Sardinia has that plus silver. So this is the better one. Farming is bad. You know, non-mining income is bad. But the other stuff is good. Okay. Okay, so... Yeah, let's get a spy. You in Valencia, and let's move you over to Aragon just to make sure that that is as happy as it can be. No mercs yet, but what are we gonna build here, and what are we gonna do? So there's our garrison: 2 crossbowmen, 1 feudal sergeant. I don't think we're strong enough to hit Castile, but I'm hoping they won't hit us either. What they might do is hit Cordoba. Right, to reinforce the garrison. Because I don't think there's been any actual battles yet. These guys are not tested. So if they do that, we want to be ready to seize the opportunity. They've got 4 crossbow types, you know, including arbalesters. They've just got better units. We need some mercenaries to start showing up. That's what we need. Okay, I do think I want another spear unit. I could go for Navarre right now, I guess. Look, there's chivalric knights here too. Wow. So that means that we could theoretically try a bribery here. Yeah, let's see what that would cost. It's probably... Okay. It'd be nice to have chivalric knights. We can't train him yet. I'd take the crossbow and the catapult too. I mean, it's steep, right? It's $2,000, and we might not get it anyway, but let's give that a shot. We're doing everything we can. I don't think I want to attack yet, partly because I don't want to risk having to withdraw again and getting some bad traits. We are going to have a son coming of age. All right, so they were going down, but the thing is the AI sees your moves, so I can't say with certainty that they actually would have attacked had I invaded Castile, right? The game, it's not as like blatant as Shogun, but the game, the AI factions do see what you do, I guess, to some extent, and it can change what they do as well. So if I'd invaded, that's not a guarantee that they would have hit Cordoba. Oh, okay, we got a general killed. Okay, in Sardinia. Oh, this was my... Probably this was my my general there, or the governor. All right, we'll have to check that. We got a border for it anyway. All right, Italians want an alliance. Yeah, I think I want an alliance with them. Unfortunately, the papacy owns Naples. Okay, but they did lose the border fort, so we can send in a spy. And this is why it's good to have all these spies, right? So we can try to exploit opportunities. I'd like to weaken them a little bit. But let's check out the situation here. Yeah, we no longer have a governor. I guess that's okay. This guy's more loyal than the last guy. And again, the income in Sardinia doesn't matter too much. So we'll just wait till this Inquisitor goes away before we commit too much to developing loyalty here. But now we've got public order at a better point. I guess the other thing I've got to consider is there could be spies here, right? There could absolutely be spies hanging out in my provinces that I'm not seeing that are affecting public order, because I can train them from the get-go, so can the AI. So we'll just raise taxes slightly. I think I will go with... I mean, this would be helpful for public order, and it's nice to have another place to get priests, I suppose. Just an easy agent to send out into the world. Okay, so it looks like the Spanish defeated the Almohads. It looks like they did see a bit of fighting here. And we still don't have an heir. That'll be next year. So I think we can hit this now. I don't know what they have in Leon, though. It's probably not a ton. But we could hit this now. What do they got there? So Pavese crossbowmen. And they could bring back all of these guys, which is not a lot, actually. I mean, it's a better army than this, I think. They get some chivalric sergeants, too. But it looks like fewer knights. Did they lose some chivalric knights? This is Prince Alfonso. Jeez, I'm tempted to go for it, because I don't think they're going to bring back everything. Let's see what this is. Are there still Almohads in Grenada? Yeah, there are. What about Morocco? Yep, and then Portugal, I think, is rebel. Oh, the Spanish have it. Okay. Well, maybe we do need to hit this then. And if he ends up getting bad traits as a general, you know, we've got this guy who's just as good right now in terms of command. I know 3 is higher than 2, but in terms of the valor benefit, 2 is equivalent to 3. So we may as well do that. Let's see. Oh, we've got mercenaries too. Okay, Vikings, archers. Let's get all of this. Send them under the king. So we've got a 3rd ranged unit. And if they hit us, it'll still count as an attack for us. But we've got a little more to throw at them. Vikings are nice to have. You can't Actually, I don't know if they're available past the early period for like the Danes to actually recruit, but they stick around as mercs, so that's nice. Our income is slowing down, obviously. And let's just see. Okay, so we've got 2 spears, 3 ranged. Let's go with some Jeanettes. I'm just going to leave that as it is, and leave that as it is. Okay, they did move back, and the Almohads moved up too. Nice. Alright, we've got a son. And Crusade to Antioch. Alright, and we've got another son coming of age in 16 years. Alright, so this is not ideal. -1 Valor, but he is a great warrior. So that just makes him a little more durable in the fight. Hedonist Valor is maybe arguably better than Health because it improves the effectiveness that you're going to fight with. But this is nice to have. Okay. So some building is accomplished. And we didn't lose, right? So the Almohads were kicked out of Cordoba again. I think what we want to do... Valencia is still kind of up for grabs. It's about to fall. Let's see. I kind of want to go for Leon. Or maybe even Cordoba. The danger with attacking here is that the Almohads may strike back, and we're not allied with them, so we would have a 3-way fight there, which would be interesting, actually. Okay, but we do have that bribery as well. All right, so let's go for the king. He might not stick around here. And then what's this? Yes, that's the Jeanettes that I trained. Let's keep them there. Let's go with... okay, what else do we have? Oh, we've got some good stuff now. Spanish javelinmen, horse archers. Okay, but yeah, the Italian infantry... I know this is an early unit, but I like the idea of it, and I like that it comes with like good armor upgrade. We also get the organ gun crew. Okay, I'm gonna hold off for now, just because we do need to do that bribery. Let's get feudal sergeants, and we're gonna keep the prince where he is, and we'll see how this is all gonna go. But okay, yeah, we're done with spies in Sicily. We could start getting assassins. Might not be a bad idea. Alternatively, we could start getting ships. That might make even more sense. Let's wait for the bribe to go through. Meantime, we'll queue up a bunch of these guys. But we've got to remember fleets. And we're also, I forget, but we're also in the gunpowder era, so we could just start getting handgunners. Or cannons or things. These are required to get the higher tier ships. But I think I'm not so concerned about that at this point. Yeah, caravels. Let's just go straight for caravels. And see how that goes. Alright, yes, another big attack in Cordoba. Alright, so the Spanish retreat out of Leon, and we take it all. Awesome. We needed that money. We got 1550 from just pillaging, because the king outright withdrew from the province. So maybe he's in Portugal now, I don't know. We destroyed some stuff, and so we get the funds for that. So we lost Castile, they got it back, that's fine. And we got the bribery in Navarre. Okay. Alright, kind of wasn't expecting that. And it looks like, what's this? Is this a rebellion or a civil war? Okay, so that's just a rebel army, which makes sense because Portugal is historically, at least as far as this game is concerned, a very rebellious province. So even though their loyalty is at 100%, they still get a nice big rebellion here. So this king may, in fact, have to retreat to Cordoba, which is currently in the hands of the Almohads. This could be very interesting, actually. Where is he going to go? I mean, I guess they could turn back and hit me. And Valencia has fallen. Okay. We've got Navarre. I mean, all of a sudden we're looking like we're in kind of a decent position. Let's go... Yep, very low taxes. We'll bring over a spy. And the public order is a lot better now for whatever reason. It could just be that now they own it. Maybe there's a spy of theirs in here. But anyway, let's see. Maybe we'll... I don't know if it's worth bringing a guy just to police Aragon, because this is not a very unhappy province. And in fact, yeah, let's instead of that, I'll keep him right here. We have an assassin that we can bring over instead. It'd take a couple of turns, but we'll have him here just in case anyone comes around looking for trouble. Wow, some good stuff. Step, Heavy Cav, Pavis Arbalesters. We've still got these guys. I'm tempted. 124 support costs. Well, I guess we're not doing any more bribery at the moment, and we're still making good money, and we've still got a decent treasury. It might be worth, you know, taking you and you. 44 support costs is actually low for such a good unit. Trebizond archers, they're interesting. I don't know that they're that good. These guys are good. But I'm going to hold off. We'll get you guys... And let's get another... let's get another crossbow unit. We'll get another ranged. And I mean, we're like at the point where I could maybe hit Valencia. Not really, but close. They don't really have anything here. So we got 13 chivalric knights who are being ransomed, actually, probably out of Cordoba. So this army's basically done. 13 chivalric knights with 2 valor is not nothing, though. So they do have that. Then they've got another 18 here. Half a unit of Jeanettes, and then these guys, which are a bit tougher. That's basically a full unit. And I don't really have anything specifically to address that. Okay, I think the way I'm going to play this is I really want to keep Leon to deny it as a place for the king to retreat. So he's going to fight and maybe die in Portugal, in which case the Spanish are eliminated. That means that I can, at my leisure, sort of grab Castile and grab Valencia. Well, I'll have the Almohads to worry about too, but whatever. And I think that's the only like royal family, because the prince seems to be there too. None of these guys have royal blood. Well, these are chivalric knights anyway. They wouldn't. And there's not a royal bodyguard there or here. So yeah, Spanish might be done for. Okay, so we're training there. Let's check out the loyalty. Navarre, we made sure that it was very low, but this guy's great. Okay, Bermudo and Suarez. So he's honest, but weak principles. Okay. He's an honest man, but he's, you know, he's open to monetary influence. So that's great. He's very loyal. He's not a good, you know, governor, but that's okay. I guess if we needed, we could put him in place. Navarre does not have a lot of money anyway. It does, however, have iron. And it is a nice mountainous province to sort of, what does it say? Yeah, inland, mountains. So if they attack from Aquitaine, we'll have some nice slopes. If someone were to attack from Castile, same thing. So Navarre is easy to defend. Nice little choke point we've got here. And I think because of that, yeah, we're just going to be training most of our units out of Aragon, but we do want to build Navarre up theoretically to do that. Let's for now go with a bishop, and we'll start to see what's north of Aquitaine. And actually, yeah, maybe I should get going on my my armor, or my iron, my weapons, all those upgrades. For Leon, what do I want to build? Let's see, if we're hit over here, I don't quite know what this is. But we can train chivalric men-at-arms here. Okay, so let's absolutely do that. Kind of crazy. I mean, it's a keep now. It was a castle or a citadel. So we'll do that. Let's see. So 2 loyalty for the Duke of Leon. Let's see if we have a likely candidate there. Okay, this guy's got at least a point of dread. Let's see. So loyalty is 122. Now it's 123, so it doesn't do a whole lot. Yeah, we'll inch that up. Okay, Swiss are the happiest, so that's unsurprising. Typically, it's the smallest faction that gets the happiest people. All right, we were not attacked. I'm going to probably say no to that, although they do have a ship here, so I guess we're in danger, theoretically, of invasion. But I don't think we're likely to be invaded by the Egyptians. Let's say no. Okay, he is actually, if we say yes to this, he'll have to side with us or the Spanish. It looks like the Spanish king ended up over here, so they're not eliminated. Oh, of course they ended up in Valencia. So maybe they ransomed. That's the only thing I can think of. Okay, let's, I guess it doesn't matter, really, right? Like, on the one hand, I'm thinking, oh, we'll get rid of this ally that the Spanish have. Maybe. But that doesn't really do a whole lot for them anyway. But let's take it. Let's say yes. Let's say yes to the Byzantines. Swiss are interesting. Let's say no to that. I'll take it from the English, an alliance, because I don't want to be invaded from Aquitaine, so I'll say yes there. Say no to the Hungarians. Some of these guys I want to keep open, just so I can, ask their princesses to marry my princes, and maybe work up the valor of my own emissaries by getting the alliances myself. Okay. So, take a look here. Portugal has a pretty strong army. The Spanish now can't touch it. And what do we have? I think this is their starting king. Yeah, it's been ransomed. All right. So I guess they fought, and this is not looking strong at all. 40 chivalric knights here. 31 here. I don't know where they got all these chivalric knights from. Or, like, they seem to be training them. But I don't think they can train them from anywhere. Okay, so it might be good to try to get an alliance with the Almohads. But maybe I'll wait to see how this all plays out, because I really want Valencia, right? Like, checking the homelands, that's the only one that I don't have currently. And I need to get it. So they've got, yes, there's their Gulam bodyguards. They've also got this interesting Berber camel. It's a camel archer unit. Got some lighter cav. A lot of these light units. And then naphtha throwers, interestingly. Some spears. You know, it's all right, but I think most of the time, you know, unit for unit, just in a melee, you can defeat them as the Aragonese. So what I want to do is move east. I want to move this big army over into Castile. Let's leave the most loyal guy behind. And we'll lower the taxes accordingly. We'll give him... yeah, let's give him a crossbow unit. And we can improve public order here by building a church. This gets a bonus to Knights of Santiago. Now, I guess we could get Crusades out of here. And that's where we get the Knights of Santiago from Crusade. So there's a chance that they would appear in a Crusade. Maybe that makes sense. Here's where you could get good Inquisitors. And I think Grand Inquisitors too. I'm not totally sure. We're still making around 1,000, which is just great. And we were going to move you up here. Oh my gosh, they got a 5-star emissary. Don Juan Ruiz. Is this the Don Juan? It probably is. Okay, so he's going to be around forever and not really a likely assassin target. Yeah, 24%. So we're just going to move our assassin up to Aragon to guard. We've got a 2-star emissary of our own. Okay, now we're sharing a border with the English who are allied with us. Let's check out their diplomacy. They're at war with the French and the Egyptians, so they're going on crusade. So we want to pay attention to this border, and I guess the French could come down and hit me. But probably not while they're actively fighting the English up here. I could get some Muwahid foot soldiers of my own if I want. You know, what I don't really have is the foot javelin unit. And I know they're not the best, but I like the idea of them, that they're a unit we can train that's kind of limited. And it can be useful in wiping out armored units. So I think I'm going to go with that. So we are going to hit Castile from Leon. The border there is very basic. There's hills. They've got a arbalest unit. They're going to train something else. I don't know quite what. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think they can get chivalric knights. I think they need an armorer's guild. So, you know, hopefully we won't have another unit out. But I don't think they're going to move these guys over to hit Castile just yet. And if they don't, I'm going to put together a force, I guess, and hit Valencia. Maybe I'll move out of Castile, in fact, and then move down into Valencia, kick the king over. We'll see. All right. So there's a cardinal. 66. Let's give it a shot. We can prevent an alliance between the French and the Pope. That's probably good. Okay, they did move some men over to Castile, but they are going to retreat. Okay. Oh, we got it, actually. No, we didn't. It's just under siege. All right. Recall your troops within 2 years and do not attack again for at least 10 years after their return. Okay, so we're now at the point where because we're stronger than them, we get the warning. I forgot about that. The way excommunication warnings work is pretty simple, from what I gather. If you've got like double the number of provinces, the Pope doesn't like it when you attack a smaller faction. That's why we didn't get any warnings initially, because the Spanish were so much bigger. But now the shoe is on the other foot. So we're going to have to decide how to play this. All right, we've got another heir, Prince Sancho, who is matured. Okay, and the Danes have stuck with us. And the Byzantines have stuck with us. Sancho is also a hedonist, but he's got a killer instinct, so that outweighs it. That's nice. Okay, so within 2 years, what that means is, if we assault right now, we could get Castile, right? The Pope won't excommunicate us if we assault now, or if we resolve the siege within 2 years. But really, this is actually like 3 years, so this we can't just let it time out, or we will be excommunicated. Unfortunately, if we attack Valencia now, we get excommunicated. And our king is young enough that that would be a potential problem. Let's see, 10 years. Is that what the limit is? And we need to... Let's see, 1350. Okay, we've actually got so much time. It's 1329. So let's say it takes like 12 years for all of that stuff to time out. Like, we assault now, and then we wait like 11 years just to be safe. Then we can attack Valencia. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We've got actually like trebuchets and catapults and stuff. We can actually do a proper assault. And they might attack us also, but we also have other units we can bring up, including Prince Sancho. Yeah, let's do all of that. And here's our bishop. Let's go, actually, I've changed my mind. Let's check out the level of Islam. Yeah, and I think I want to get my bishop down in Cordoba. Actually, maybe we'll put him down in Granada. Keep an eye on things, because we may be at war with the Aragonese pretty quickly. So we're going to assault. We're going to move in reinforcements, at least from Leon. I'm a little concerned about Aragon, I guess. But they can only hit me from Valencia. Now, unfortunately, the bridge, it's not a two-way bridge. Oh, it is. So if they attack Aragon, we will be defending over that river. Well, I'm glad I made these guys. They'll be good in a river defense. Okay, so maybe we do another... okay, we can do chivalric men-at-arms. Let's do one of those. A really solid guy. We could do pikes, even. That's very hefty support costs, but let's go with swordsmen. Train some swords. The income's coming down a bit. I think we want to keep everyone in Aragon to defend against this. And hopefully, with these 2 royal knights, with the chivalric knights, and with all the siege stuff, we can hold out against an assault. Alright, we'll go up to high. Now in Sardinia, let's go right to the silver mine. That's going to get us the most return. And did the French and the papacy make an alliance? They did. Well, let's actually cancel this then. But it was a French inquisitor who inquisited one of my guys, wasn't it? I don't know if that actually matters, or if it's actually indicative of an attitude on the part of the AI. It may not be. All right. Alright, we've lost another one, and this is in Navarre. This is an English inquisitor, and he took out my my loyal chivalric knight. Very unfortunate. Okay, but we're going to just have a regular assault. It looks like there's no reinforcements, and this is a citadel. Okay, this is... we've got to do it. This is going to be rough. Okay, so they've got 3 ranged units, an infantry, chivalric sergeants, and then their chivalric knights. All right, we've got some Vikings for some anti-armor melee. We've got some crossbows. We've, of course, got the catapults. We've got the trebuchet. The catapults are going to have a lot less range, so they're not going to be as effective against the walls. And there's going to be a couple layers of walls is the other thing. So this is a citadel. I don't think this has like the ring wall, which is like that extra layer, but it is still going to be pretty formidable. It's probably going to come down in the end to us sending our guys, some infantry unit, up against a gate, getting boiling oil thrown on them, and just hacking through. But hopefully we'll be able to pierce at least one ring. Let's take a look. Yeah, okay, so there's only two layers of wall we got to get through, and they're in a pretty straight line, but this one, kind of untouchable. Now, theoretically, we could just take out, like, a wall here or here, and then get into the keep. Realistically, though, they're going to have their forces spread out a bit, and we can't actually access this wall, as you can see. This is going to be inaccessible terrain. So it's pretty nice. I like how these castles are built in that sense. We've got a catapult tower, too. This is just absolutely devastating. Okay, so we're going to continue. We're going to attack in the fine weather. And I'm going to put my guys... Yeah, they're going to have to go, like, over here. Let's see. Yeah, this is showing it's inaccessible, but that's just because it's within the forbidden zone. Okay, the catapult tower... Oh, the front gate is actually... Yeah, okay, right here. See, I could set up here. Let's see how far we could go in terms of our catapult or the trebuchet. Okay, can't hit from here. That's not a great sign. I'm worried that if we can hit from here, the catapult tower can hit from here. Oh, let's see, what's this? That's another catapult tower. Okay, so maybe we want to do something like set up on this side, because there's a bit of a rise here we can maybe use. Okay, we can't put them in the trees. Is that it? Oh, that's very unfortunate. All right, and you can see that we've got a very limited arc of fire. We can't hit this catapult tower, but we can hit the castle wall and this catapult tower. And we should, yeah, we can hit that wall too. So this might be a good place for our guys. We're going to put a catapult right here to go after that. And these guys can turn. There's just too many catapult towers. I'm a little worried about this. Okay, you can hit both. You can hit both of these towers. And you can hit the wall at least. Alright, we can dismount some of our cavalry in a siege. These guys become chivalric foot knights. I don't know that I want to do that with the king. I think I want to keep him back. But I might with these guys. On the other hand, we're going to have to keep an eye out because of all these catapults bouncing around. So we don't want them to be too close over here. Alright, let's put it back here. You guys and you guys are like good infantry. The Vikings are good, but they are also kind of expendable. And these guys are now armor piercing now that we've dismounted them and they have pole arms. So I think Vikings are going to be like the first wave. Bowmen, I almost might want to use them as just a distraction. Let's put them on loose formation, like right up here, and hope that they draw fire from the catapult towers. And we'll keep the crossbowmen like back a bit. We've also got Spanish Chouettes, and they'll go there. I guess they should be kind of blocky, and on engage at will. All right. Alright, so begin battle, immediately hit this catapult tower. Trebuchet hits the wall. Okay, there's their general inside in the keep layer. So yeah, we are going to have to go through both walls, or at least get through the outer layer. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. Alright, get you out of here. Out of here. That's just not fair. Alright, yep, you can be loose. Alright, it looks like they're trying to hit the crossbowmen. They're targeting the crossbows. Only 9% damage? Oh, nope. What are they trying to hit? And is the trebuchet destroyed? No. Okay. 4%? Oh, man. Alright, so this is going to be harder. Maybe I just got to ignore that. We just got to ignore the catapult towers and just go right for the walls. Alright, let's speed up. We're a third of the way, half of the way through. Nice. If we get in here, I mean, we need to get through this wall. We can get through this wall and then send expendable units around to hack at the gates. Oh, we're attacking different walls? Oh, for crying out loud. Yep. This is terrible.
The enemy cannot stand against our soldiers, and the wall is breached.
Let's, oh, can I not hit it? Okay, I can hit it from there. And what about this? I can hit it from here and here. Alright, great. So let's send the archers in. We'll just send them in to shoot stuff. If we can make all of our holes here, I mean, this is going to be absolutely murderous running in. Oh, they've got Pavese crossbowmen. Okay. Let's get close formation and set up, like, right here. What is that, up to 14%? That's not bad. We've got about half of our ammo left. Okay, actually changed my mind. There's no sense in sending these guys against Pavese crossbowmen. They're just going to win. What I need to do is send, you know, my cavalry, I guess. Or the infantry, right? We just need to get them into melee. Alright, 6. 30, okay. Yeah, the ballista tower's at 6. Alright, supposedly we're shooting at something. I don't think... Oh, we are. Okay. I don't see how we're making that arc, but I'll take it. That is arbalesters, and that is archers. And so all of their melee stuff, their dedicated melee stuff, is in the keep area. Once this wall gets down, we're halfway there. Hopefully we can get it down with the ammo that we have. We'll send everybody in, the melee guys, on a sprint and hope that we can carry the day. 71, okay. Feeling pretty good about that. That's 31 chivalric knights, and then I don't know exactly what else. Alright, it is 38 chivalric sergeants. Is that it? I think it's more, actually, than that. I think they may have split them up into like a couple of different units. 76%, nice. Alright, what are you shooting at? Let's get right here really quickly. Oh, did we? They just routed. Okay. 76% damage. 82, that's good. If they take out my trebuchet, though, that's going to be the end of it. Alright, let's send up the light cav. I can rally you. Alright, and you need to be in close formation. .94. We just need like another hit or two. One more hit. We're at 99%. Alright, let's hit the Pavies, crossbowmen. Send in the Vikings. Alright, nice. Alright, everybody's going for it now. We are winning easily, supposedly. Alright, rally the archers again, bring them over. Okay, so this is where the breach is. Let's focus on catapult tower, I guess. Catapult tower there. How are we doing? Okay, we're doing actually pretty well. We're basically sacrificing this Jeanette's unit to keep the archers off of us, off of the melee guys, who are getting hit anyway. Get them into close formation and right through. Archers come in. Vikings, I'm going to have them help out with that melee. And should I bring in the king? I mean, he's got a son and heir. This is really risky, but... let's get right up here. Yeah, crossbowmen come in. Alright, 28 chivalrics, and let's get the chivalric men-at-arms to take out the chivalric sergeants. And we'll use the foot knights somewhere else. Okay, we actually beat them there. Let's now get the cavalry over here. The Royal Knights in too. There's arbalesters, so that's dangerous. Alright, everybody is up here who I kind of want to be. And we're just going to throw you guys in to shut down the arbalesters. Okay. Vikings come in. Oh, we're getting routed up in the middle. Damn. Alright. We might lose this. We might just lose this assault. Okay, we're out of ammo. Alright, let's fire into the melee. Alright, you guys are now on engage at will. We didn't do enough damage to the the spearmen. And you guys broke quicker than I was hoping. Alright, come back. What are they down to? 18 men? Oh my gosh, my guys are dying though. Alright, get into melee. We're going to charge the archers, the arbalesters over there. Really depends on the Vikings here. How are we doing? 32 men. Winning easily. $16, 15 chivalric knights. Okay, the archers can come back yet again. Alright, how's the arbalesters doing? Only 9 of them, great. Okay, my king is doing alright, I think. Let's get you guys in a nicer formation. $13 chivalric knights. I'm just keeping these guys back because I'm a little worried about how they're going to perform. 17 chivalric sergeants and I think, okay, 9 chivalric knights. Good, we're taking out the archers, the king and the crossbowmen. Alright, yep, archers come back right here. 8 knights. Oh my gosh. That may have been his own catapults that are firing back at us, actually. Damn, alright. I don't think this is going to work out. Fear we're going to lose it all. We're so close, though. 4 archers, 2 arbalesters. Alright, if we can rally them on the way out. Damn, even the crossbowmen are routing? Alright, we gotta go with the king. Only 5 men left. The towers are shooting at him. Take out these 2 arbalesters, just 1 left. Alright, chivalric men-at-arms. Everybody come back. Vikings come back. Crossbowmen need to come back. Oh gosh, we're going right into the spears here because we got nothing else but our king. Are the crossbowmen back? No? Everyone's exhausted. Okay, we're fighting an arbalester and 11 chivalric sergeants. Oh, they've got all these guys back here too. Oh, please, let's take them out. Fire at them. He is not the most warlike king, but he's up to 4 valor now. He's only got 5 men left in his bodyguard. Foot knights are cutting down the enemy general, so now he's only got 4. Our crossbowmen are back. Let's see if we can get the Vikings back. We can. Okay. We're so close to getting these guys to rally. And if we can take out... Okay, just 1 of him left. You know, we do even have these crew members. I think we can... Oh, damn. We're probably going to get a big mass rout here. All right, what are you down? 6 chivalric sergeants. Still got 4 of our general left. All right, let's see if we can run these guys through. The chivalric men-at-arms to come and help out here. The Vikings have to get into it. The crossbows are still firing. All right, and we can rally you guys.
general is dead.
That's it?
Unfortunately slain before the
Oh my
punks
gosh.
could kill him.
Alright, let's bring the archers back. Bring you guys up. 4 chivalric sergeants, 3, and then we got 13 right by the keep. Alright, my king is down to 2 men, but I'm a little worried about taking him out at this point. I think we want to leave him in. I think it's when you try to move around in a melee that you take a bunch of losses. Oh, jeez. Yeah, we've got catapults and ballista towers shooting at us, so it's really not safe at any point. The crossbowmen...
Like a royal fool,
Oh, damn!
your king has thrown his life away.
Alright, that's a morale shock. Let's see if we can withstand it. Just kill this last guy. Alright, maybe I move the cav now. I got the crossbowmen up here. Alright, these guys are not coming back at this point, it looks like. Alright, but we did take out the last of them. Let's get the Royal Knight over here. The Vikings over here. We're just firing in with our crossbowmen. But are we gonna rout? Are we just gonna withdraw at the last second? Let's throw in. We're fighting uphill against guys who are probably fresh. And they're winning easily, but at least we did get them from the side with the Chivalric Knight, or the Royal Knight. Nope, that's it. Okay. We've got some time left. If some of these guys can stay in the melee, or at least rally, we could send these guys to attack. I don't think the odds of this are very good. Rally? Can I rally you at this point, or is this it? If we can pull them out, they're probably not going to follow us, though. Let's send in the crew. Maybe shame some of these guys into turning and fighting back. Alright, crossbows are staying. And the Vikings... Yeah, the crossbows are wavering. This is not a good scenario for them. And we've got to kill all of them. So, some guys have left the field. I don't think we're going to get... I don't think we're going to get these guys back, unfortunately. Like, on paper, I could win this battle, right? Alright, just form up. And do some firing. But the thing is, they can rout even from this position. If they take some losses from the towers, you can see they're uncertain. If these guys come out at them, that could just be enough to get him into a rout. All right, let's see. 11, 10. Yeah, some of them are routing. All right, let's get you up here. I don't think we got it. Nine and 6. All right, let's throw them in. All right, yeah, that's gonna get them to rout. And then, what is this going to do? We're wavering now. And I think we're just going to time out. Whoa! Oh, shoot, though. Okay, they're routing, but that didn't end the battle. It's not like the later Total War games. They got them to rout, but we did not... Wait, we got victory? That seems wrong. Okay, I don't know what happened here. So, Castile has fallen. Wow, okay. I thought that we needed to actually, before the time limit, kill them all. I didn't think that we could get them to rout. Now, maybe the reasoning is that they are outside the walls, and so they had no one inside the walls who was not routing. I don't know, but I'll take it. We absolutely got it. We fought our asses off for that one. 3,500 pillaged, and we've just burned the place to the ground. Got a bit of ransom for it, and our son is now going to take over. So, the French, strongest military, that doesn't surprise me. In late, they start off very powerful. I think this is the only non-French part of France in the late period. And we've got a first rank by the guy who who was holding the reins at the end of that siege. Emissary from the Holy Roman Empire. Let's say no for now. And, okay, yeah, he's a good runner because he routed. Okay, let's take a look now at what Castile consists of. 1537. So that's good profits. But yeah, we've got a castle level still, which is nice. It's, not as good as this. And I noticed that the Spanish managed to maintain the citadel in Valencia when they took it, curiously enough. Okay, so we are at least not excommunicated, as you can tell. And we have conquered Castile. We have unified our provinces from the Atlantic to the Mediterranean. We own Leon, Castile, Navarre, Aragon. We own Sardinia through bribery, and we own Sicily through some form of skullduggery that occurred off camera, as it were. So we've got a nice little empire spanning half the Mediterranean, and we've got 20 turns. It's now 1330. 20 turns left in which to take Valencia. If we hold off for, let's say 12 of those, the excommunication warning will expire. So around 1342 is when we could consider it safe to go in for the kill. Now, if something happens between then and now, we might just go for it anyway. Maybe, for example, the Aragonese will get pushed out by the king, and Valencia will be very vulnerable. On the other hand, it could be that the Almohads, it could be that the Almohads take Valencia and kill the Spanish for us, in which case, then we go for Valencia whenever we feel like it, because the Pope is never going to tell us to stop attacking the Almohads. They may be a foe with its own challenges, but it'll be interesting to fight them, as I'm sure we will at some point. I'm noticing a lot of heirs all of a sudden. A lot of Gulam bodyguards creeping up. But our next episode is going to be what to do, in terms of developing our provinces. We've got a lot of titles to hand out, and we've got a new king to celebrate. Alfonso V, 20 years old. Yeah, he ought to get married because we do have a couple of brothers coming up. Fernando in about 6 years and Garc in about 11. But otherwise, for a long time, it's going to be up to King Alfonso and his brother, Prince Sancho, to hold the family and the empire intact. So, off to, I think, a pretty good start for the first episode. It's a little messy, but I think we did as well as can be expected for Aragon at the start of the late campaign. So, thanks for joining. Hope you stick around to see what comes in the next episode. See you then.